Today is Trans Day of Remembrance. It's a day to memorialize those who were unalived because of the cruelty of our world. People who deserved better than to have their bright lights snuffed out. Who deserved us to fight for them. As I tell you about this, I don't want you to just hear numbers. I want you to think of people like Ariana Mitchell, like Brianna Guy, and Eden Knight. Journalist Erin Reed did a beautiful job of telling their stories on her Substack, which you should all subscribe to. These are women who should be here today, laughing, crying, making mistakes, growing, loving, and being loved. But in the last year, globally, 321 trans and gender diverse people were reported unalived, according to this monitoring project. I put the emphasis on reported because there's no way to account for people who never got to live as their true selves, who may have been misgendered in the reports of their unaliving, or whose unaliving was never reported in the first place. The real number is likely much, much higher. Especially when you consider that trans people are 4 times more likely than cisgender people to be victims of violent crime. In addition to this, there are the lives lost to self-unaliving. A study of more than 6.6 million people found that those who identified as trans had 7.7 times the rate of attempting to unalive themselves. And more than half of gender-diverse youth have considered the same, according to the Trevor Project. Even if these figures make you feel hopeless, I promise you there is something you can do about it. First and foremost, listen to and amplify trans voices. Folks like Faye Johnstone, Ari Drennan, and so many others who are doing this essential work. LGBTQ youth also report lower rates of attempting to unalive themselves if they have access to an affirming space. They're also 40% less likely to attempt that if they have at least one accepting adult in their lives. Access to gender-affirming care and respecting gender-diverse folks' pronouns also helps. So if we take all that, think about it. You can be that accepting adult for someone. You can respect preferred pronouns. You can fight for spaces like schools or your home to be gender affirming. You can educate yourself and those around you about these issues. You might just save a life. In the meantime, I want to speak to any trans folks who might be watching this. Even if the world is feeling colder every day, I promise we will keep you warm. You have worth. You have value. You are loved and you deserve to be protected. We will protect you. I promise.